politics in Illinois are very different than California, for example. It's obviously, from what I understand from friends that I have out here, very race-oriented in California. It's not like that in Illinois. It's gang-oriented. Look, man, Chicago's got the toughest gun laws in the country, period, right? But there's the most gun violence in the country, period.
What up, everybody? Big Herc 916 getting down with Fresh Out, and you tuned in to another prison talk. And I have a special guest today, Sammy Horowitz from Illinois. We haven't had anybody from, we have had one person from Illinois. We had a correctional officer, Hines, but we have somebody who's actually been in the system with us, Sammy, and he also has a background in Hollywood. And so I thought it'd be great to get him on the show, and we were finally able to make it happen. So I have him here with me today. And Sammy, man, we were just chopping it up off camera about the Hollywood depiction of prison and, what you see on shows like Oz or Prison Break or, The Chi. What's your take on all that, man? Because you're from Chi-Town, man, and so you can break down a lot of what they're projecting out there and see the truth from fiction.
Yeah. So we got right into it, man. So look, I'm from Chicago, and I did all my time in Illinois prisons and Cook County Jail, which is Chicago. I can tell you this much. You're speaking about sexuality and how things are portrayed in prison movies, and how, I will say this, in truth, now in my life, 10 years later, my mindset is completely different than it was before, in the sense that I have gay friends, people very close to me. I don't really look at that anymore. In prison, it's very different. Obviously, you know this. I can say that to answer your question specifically. No, homosexuality in prison is not something that's accepted by any member of an organization, for example, any member of a gang or organization in prison. No, that's not something that's accepted in prison. The way that it's viewed, that it's been portrayed, I should say, in different Hollywood movies, I would say, and shows, it's stretching. It's definitely stretching reality. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah.
Well, I know when I was in the feds, and there was a dude who was a beast. This dude was like, he's about his business. Big white cat, man. I mean, head buster. And, cool dude, though. You know what I mean? Cool dude, good looking dude on swole, 6'2", 3", And he was, the shot caller for the white guys on the yard. And then this little Native American showed up. And then everybody seen him like, hey, hanging out and, talk to the warden to get him as a cellmate. Next thing you know, they said, yeah, he busting his cheeks and stuff, man. And then everybody's like, dude, you can't really be running the car and with that,
Right.
No disrespect, that's on you, but we can't have that. And the dude, like, he was a beast. They didn't want to have to roll him up, but at the same time, he just stepped down because that was what he was doing in there. Now, whether or not he was doing that just in there, but the bottom line is, like you said, there's a political thing in prison where, dude, it's not, and I have nothing against, like, either gay people either. Right. I have, my aunt's gay, I have gay friends, that are, gay, but it's like, in prison, you cannot be no dude, like, running or doing something and you can't do that.
It's a different
world.
It's a different world, man.
Yeah.
It's a different world. It's been 10 years. I got out October 19th, 2010. It's been over 10 years.
Yeah.
That was a different time. But I can say for sure, just to back that up, politics in Illinois are very different than California, for example. it's obviously from what I understand from friends that I have out here, very race oriented in California. It's not like that in Illinois. It's gang oriented. So it's with what organization you are a part of, and that's how that kind of works out, or lack thereof, an organization. But I can say that no, if you're a member of any organization out there, that's not really an issue. It's not really happening, and certainly there wouldn't be anybody talking about it. I in almost 9 years, I don't think I met one person that I associated with at that time that I knew to be doing that stuff.
They wouldn't be involved or in that circle or sitting at that table, getting down like that. Because I know, like, I met a couple dudes in the feds from Chicago, but like even in the feds, man, it's very it's a little different than this. It's a lot different than the state, but political wise, like the dudes from like Chicago or dudes who are just running a certain group, like you might have dudes from Chicago over at this table, maybe some Latin Kings over at this table, and then you might have some dudes from like say Baltimore or Virginia over here or New York over here. So it's like it's everything is in its own little kind of cliques, and you have dudes who kind of run those or who are like the spokespeople for those cliques. And one of the things is, outside of dealing with like the homosexual aspect is like now you got a lot of dudes who, because of what we've seen in social media, the telling and stuff like that, dude, I seen dudes in there. It don't matter if a dude is doing life. If they found out that and there's guys in there, that are doing a lot of time, 20, 30 years, and they found out their paperwork was no good, dude, I seen dudes get rolled up immediately.
Yeah, it's hard to, truthfully, it's real hard to stomach that type of stuff now. That's why I love the fact that I'm not a criminal.
Yeah.
I don't commit crimes anymore. Yeah. I don't even align. I can't even relate to the person that I used to be when I think about the type of stuff that I used to do. That said, though, still to this day, when I look at these dudes on YouTube and Instagram and everything else, and glorifying snitching, basically cooperating. Look, I'm not for committing crimes, period.
Yeah.
I'm just not. I did my time. I did that was the life I used to live. But that said, I also am not with people that act like they're super fucking tough, and then all of a sudden, as soon as the heat goes on them, telling all their friends, and it's a mess.
Trying to justify.
This is a young generation of kids.
Yeah.
And people nowadays that are doing this stuff, and
it's a different code.
Glorified stool pigeons. That's what you see.
Yeah.
I mean, look, man. You run a YouTube show. You look at some of the people that have 1 million followers that are doing interviews that are talking about all the people they told on, man.
That's crazy.
This is just not something that used to be real.
It wouldn't even, like, that going back 15, 20 years ago, they would have got no action. But now, rather than, like, the guys who stood tall, they're not getting any props. They're not getting a voice. And that's what, I like about our channel, that we try to, give people a voice who maybe wouldn't have had a voice because of, like you said, you got a guy running around trolling everybody. He's a straight rat, but yet everybody's still like, tapping in with this dude. Why would you even give me any more? Why are you giving me more attention? There's no need to give that person any fucking attention. They're a piece of shit.
Right.
So, my thing is, showing that you still got to have morals and values, man. You can't promote. And like you said, the criminal aspect, I wouldn't want nothing to do with it, but you can't promote harming and hurting people. And then at the end of the day, you are a participant, but then you want to go and tell on all these dudes, but you're the one who incited all that.
Right. It's like, don't worry, you can do whatever you want to do, because when it comes down to it, you could just tell your way out of it. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people that were doing that when I was in prison, when I was on the street doing what I was doing. Yeah. But that said, it wasn't. That wasn't glorified. That was, that.
Yeah, it wasn't glorified.
Do you know what I mean?
It wasn't glorified.
Yeah.
I knew dudes like guys would say, oh, that dude, he used to be this and that. He busted, he shot at this dude, blah, blah, blah. But as soon as he told, all that went out the window.
Right.
That's it. That's like being a soldier. You're in the military, this and that. But if you went and gave up your platoon dude, you're done. That's it.
Right.
All the stars, credibility, everything you had, medals of honor, all that is shit once you turn on your people. As far as like, what you see with a lot of the violence in Chicago with the rappers and stuff, man, and the shootings. I mean, Chicago's turned into, it's like it's always been violent, but it's like now almost like how LA gang scene was back in like the 80s. What do you think is fueling that, man?
Drugs. I think drugs. I think look, man, Chicago's got the toughest gun laws in the country. Period. Right? But there's the most gun violence in the country, period. I'm not a rocket scientist.
Yeah.
I'm not one of these guys. I'm not super smart. I'm a fucking stuntman. I get my ass beat for a living. I don't know, what the answer is, but I can tell you it's a misery merry-go-round. It's just a
I mean,
recidivism, man. It's just people go in, they come out. There's a lot of violence. There's a lot of fucked up areas, impoverished areas. I don't know what the answer is, man. I know the answer isn't. We're just gonna forbid guns because it doesn't do shit.
Yeah.
If that's what you're asking, but I don't know what the answer is.
Well, when I think and reflect back on it, and I see how a lot of it, like before, when you had the beef, you had to hear about it through word of mouth.
Right.
Like say somebody it's like say somebody said some shit about you, you might have heard it, but it went through the streets. But now when a dude is like, they're dude literally in Chicago, seeing like dudes are urinating on dudes' graves. So when you promote that, you're really promoting a certain mentality, and then you do a song about it. And so now the songs become the theme songs for, right. And it turned into a whole nother animal. Back then, it wasn't nobody rapping and then putting it on something to go viral about all the ops. Dude, you wrote a song about all your ops. You sound like you killed 10, 15, 20 people. You're a serial murderer, and it's cool. So I think it's turned into a thing now where it's almost, I don't know if it's like it's what it is, like a status symbol.
I mean, even 10 years ago, people were Facebook gangbanging. Or what is it? What was it? What was the thing before Facebook? MySpace, right?
Yeah.
Gangbanging on MySpace and shit was going on like that, where guys would get into it with each other. Little
so MySpace kicked it off, huh?
Probably so. Yeah, I mean, but this is something that's always been. Like Chicago has always been.
Yeah.
There is no more violent city in the country than Chicago.
Yeah.
I'm from Chicago, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Al Capone City, man.
It's the most gangster shit is in Chicago and was. Yeah. I don't know how it's supposed to get fixed. I know that there's a lot of work that obviously needs to be done. I know that it hasn't been great with politics and I don't know much at all about politics.
So you think because of like, I know it's because it's a hub for distribution for drugs. I mean,
right.
The brothers out there who kind of like told on El Chapo, who were tied into I forgot the name of them, but they were from out there.
The twins,
and then you had El Chapo. A lot of people who do business. He was like that was a big, and then distribution kind of went out from there. So you think because of just the influx of that and people getting so much money, it creates just all these little turf beefs because of people as far as trying to move all the drugs? Or you think that's the main thing, or hip hop, or what do you?
It doesn't got shit to do with hip hop. It's gangs and drugs, man.
Yeah.
There's more gangs in Chicago. I don't know anywhere else in the country. I mean, first of all, the only two places that have their own gang culture is Chicago and LA.
Yeah.
New York basically got their gangs from Chicago and LA. If you look at New York, they got Bloods, they got Crips, they got Latin Kings. Latin Kings are a Chicago-based organization.
Okay.
Crips and Bloods came from the West Coast, right? Chicago and LA are the two biggest gang hubs. There's more gangs than you can count on all your fingers and toes combined with me and you. You can't. So the gang violence based off of drugs and turf and neighborhoods and beefs that have happened over the years since the fucking 50s. This is what's, and now, I mean, if you look at stuff nowadays, it's there's a lot of petty shit too. So you got a lot of people that just don't know any better, that have grown up in really fucked up circumstances, that will kill you for a fucking pair of Jordans.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what, and that's not nothing new. This stuff has been happening for a long time.
Yeah.
And social media and YouTube and all that has exacerbated it in many ways, because you got people glorifying this shit that don't know shit about what's going to happen to them and the consequences of their actions. But that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, you're right about that. I mean, it's with social media, YouTube. I mean, MySpace was like, when I got out, that was a big thing. I didn't really know anything about it. And then, like you said, Facebook took over. But now, you know, with the guys on Instagram posting videos, which is, you know, all incriminating themselves because, you know, I mean, when I was growing up, you had very little picture there. You never took a picture with a gun. Nobody I knew took a picture with a gun. That's insane. But now it's like fashionable.
Putting it on Facebook as your profile picture. Yeah, man.
You know, and holding the pistol. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You know, and it's like that. You think that gives you value? You know, it makes you look like a goddamn idiot. But yeah, different times, man. Different times, man. So it's always good to hear somebody else's opinion because, like I said, I know, you know, Chicago is not to be underestimated. They ain't no joke out there. Them youngsters out there are you know, they're doing big things, and it's fast. You know, Chicago's it's like you said, it's a hub for a lot of things, man. So I appreciate your input on that. Hey, you guys, there you have it. Big Herc 916, Sammy Horowitz, fresh out. Prison Talk.